Vidura is inquiring from Maitreya about this material world. He wants to understand what is this material world. How do we understand creation, maintenance, destruction of this world? So in explaining this material world, Maitreya has explained there are different divisions of the creation. The Supreme Lord creates, maintains and destroys this material world, and there are divisions of creation. While describing the divisions of creation, creation means actually formation of the body. As you know, the soul never is born. Soul never dies. So what is described as birth or death is getting a material body and giving it up. So when we get a material body, we say, I am born. And when this body is finished, say, I am dead. The soul does not die, the soul does not take birth, the soul is unchanging, eternal reality. What is changing is the body. This you have heard many times. Now, what is this body itself made of? One perspective of seeing this body is that it is made up of the 5 great elements, Pancha Mahabhuta: earth, water, fire, air, and sky or space. Now, there is another body within this body. The mind, the intelligence, and the ego, manas, buddhi, ahankara. Now that is also material, though it is subtle matter, sukshma sharira, still it is matter. So then the question may be asked, if all this is matter, earth, water, fire, air, sky, mind, intelligence, ego, everything is matter. What is matter ultimately made of? That question is answered here. Matter is basically material energy, but material energy itself ultimately is nothing but the material atomic particles called atom, paramanu. The Sanskrit is paramanu. In English, it's called atom. So, atom is described by Maitreya Rishi as the ultimate particle which is indivisible. You cannot divide atom further. You cannot divide it further. And it is not formed into a body. Body means any physical object, non-living object, a non-living form, a non-living entity that you see is called body. The whole universe is considered the body of the Supreme Lord Vishnu, who has entered into this universe. That is called the universal form or the universal body. So everything is body that we see around us. Everything. But the atom is not formed into a body and it is indivisible. This atom always exists as an invisible identity. It is never visible. It cannot be seen or it cannot be perceived. Seen here means cannot be perceived by any means. Even after the dissolution of all forms, when everything is destroyed, at the end of the duration of this universe, everything is destroyed. All the physical forms are destroyed. So what happens to matter itself? Matter is nothing but atoms. So the atoms remain even after everything is destroyed. The material body is nothing but a combination of such atoms, but it is misunderstood by the common man. We think material body in terms of different varieties. Human form, bird form, animal form, or even if you look at the mind, maybe somebody will say the body after all is Panchabhuta, or even in terms of modern science, it is made up of flesh and blood and some bones or some cells, even if you consider cell. All bodies are made up of cells. Okay. But what about the subtle body? What about the mind? The mind is different. The mentality of each person is different. Certainly the mentality of the birds is different, mentality of humans is different, mentality of animals is different. So, in terms of mind or subtle body, then what is matter? So therefore, the ultimate particle, ultimate identity of matter is atom. Everything is combination of atom. Even the mind, even the intelligence, even space or sky. Sky is also combination of atoms. Because after dissolution, the sky does not remain, the mind does not remain, the intelligence doesn't remain, the ego doesn't remain. So, what happens after dissolution? Everything is destroyed, including the mind, including the intelligence and ego. What remains is described here as atom, Paramanu. This Paramanu is, or atom, is actually another form of time, eternal time. How do we understand this? That atom is nothing but time. That is explained here, that atom is described as atomic time covering a particular atomic space. Atomic time, we have experience of time, that which is passing. Now, how do we understand time is passing? By the change that is happening in terms of our own body or in terms of movement. When there is movement, we know there is time. So, everything in this universe is actually moving. That's why this universe is called Jagat. What is the meaning of the word Jagat? The fundamental meaning of the word Jagat is that which is moving. So, what is moving? These atoms. The atoms are moving. Because ultimately this universe is made of atoms. All bodies are made of atoms. The bodies are changing means the atoms are moving. And atoms are moving by the force of time, Kala. Kala, time, is pushing everything towards change. Ultimately, there has to be change. Every moment there is change. Just like our body. Though we cannot make out change of the body in one moment, we cannot make out. But there is change happening. The scientists will confirm that this body is made up of so many cells. But the cells are destroyed and new cells are generated. Continuously that is happening. So, that confirms that this body is changing. Similarly, this table, it may look like table, not much change in a small amount of time. But actually, the effect of Kala is that this table is ultimately deteriorating little by little by little by little. It's losing strength. And eventually, it is going to completely lose all its strength. It will crumble. You don't do anything, just leave this table as it is. It will crumble. Everything is going to be finally destroyed. Everything. Just by the effect of Kala. Nothing remains. So, that particle, atom inside every, which is forming the body or the object, physical object, is ultimately indivisible. It is invisible. It cannot be divided further. So that is the fundamental particle of matter. But the difference is, there is another particle, spiritual particle, Atma. That spiritual particle, Atma, is different. That spiritual particle is different. That spiritual particle, Atma, or the self or the soul, is very, 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 very tiny. Just like this physical atom or material atom is also very tiny. Just like material atom is indivisible, soul is also indivisible. It is said here the atoms don't combine. They don't combine. Even though so many atoms are forming this table, but actually we cannot understand how the atoms are together. That we cannot understand. Though the scientists say atoms bond each other and there's some bonding and all that. Actually, the atoms are simply held together by the force of time. By the force of time, Kala. Kala is holding. Even our own body. This body, so many atoms are making up this body. The atoms are held together by Kala, force of Kala. Because when Kala dictates, body is finished, over, everything separates. You cannot maintain this body after death. Not possible. So, it is Kala only which is holding different particles of atom together as one body. Every body, every physical object is nothing but simply atoms being held together by Kala. This is exactly what is described here. And ultimately, because Kala is the energy of the Supreme Lord Hare, therefore, the Supreme Lord controls all physical movement through Kala. Every movement is controlled by the Supreme Lord. As Paramatma, He is controlling every movement. No movement is independent or no movement is outside the purview of the Supreme Lord. So all movements are happening. Now movement means, again, all the planets are rotating in their orbits. That's one easy way of understanding movement. Ultimately, what is the movement that is happening? All planets are rotating in their orbits, including the sun. The sun is also rotating in its orbit. The movement of the sun gives rise to our perception of time. Just like we say time in terms of day and night. When the sun is visible in the sky, because our planet is rotating, every planet is rotating, sun is also rotating. So according to the relative movement, sometimes the sun is visible in the sky, sometimes it is not visible. So when it is visible, we say daytime. When the sun is not visible in the sky, we say night. But actually what is happening? Simply the planets are moving. That's why relatively, now if you ask somebody in America, they'll say the sun is not visible. In their part of the earth, not visible. Night time in America. Right? So, how is it that the same sun, the same earth, according to the relative position, if the sun is visible, it is day. If the sun is not visible, it is night. So, time is an effect. Actually, time is not an effect. Time is the cause of movement, and movement is actually an effect of time. Movement is an effect of time. That's the way it is explained in the scriptures. People think otherwise. Because there is movement, they think there is time. Actually, okay, you can say both are correlative. That's what is explained here. Time and space are two correlative terms. Time is measured in terms of its covering a certain space of atoms. So, when the sun moves, sun is moving, the time taken for the sun to move over one atom is called atomic time. Perfect definition of time in the Srimad Bhagavatam. And the calculation of time from the atom, that is the smallest amount of time that can be measured. And the greatest time or the biggest time, Paramakala. Paramakala. This Paramakala or great time is the time duration of this entire universe. The universe is created, universe is maintained, finally universe will be destroyed. So when the universe is destroyed, the time period between creation and destruction, that is called great time. Paramakala. So that great time is half a breath of Mahavishnu. Yasyaika nishvasita kalam. Kala is coming there. Nishvasita kalam. Mahavishnu is an incarnation of the Supreme Lord for the purpose of creation, maintenance and destruction of this world. So he incarnates or he appears in one part of this entire material creation or material world called Karana ocean. There is one Karana ocean, causal ocean. In that ocean, Mahavishnu is appearing and lying down, and he is breathing out. Any person, living person we have experienced will be breathing. So he breathes out, so many universes come out of his skin holes. From the pores of his body, so many universes come out in the seed form. And then the universes develop after Vishnu, another Vishnu form, enters into each universe. Then the universe begins to develop. Just like the father and mother combine, and there is a small, very, very tiny embryo that is formed in the mother's womb. When a soul enters, then only the embryo begins to develop into a very beautiful body. Very nice body with so many parts. So similarly, this universe with all its variegatedness develops after Vishnu enters into the universe, seed-like universe. So how long will this universe remain? It will remain as long as Mahavishnu does not breathe in. Just like we breathe out, then after some time we again breathe in. Again we breathe out, breathe in. Like that Mahavishnu is breathing in and breathing out. So when he breathes out, so many universes come out. When he breathes in, everything is destroyed and goes into his body. Everything is destroyed and goes into his body. So the duration of this universe, even though according to our measurement, it is so very long, the duration of this universe. But for Vishnu, Mahavishnu, it is half a breath. Half a breath. Yasyaika nishvasita kala mathavalambya jivanti loma. Loma means the intervening period. When Vishnu is breathing, the intervening period between his breathing out and breathing in is the duration of existence of Jivanti Loma Vilaja Jagadandanatha. Jagat, this whole universe, is called Anda. It's in the shape of one egg. That's why Jagadanda. Natha is the master or the topmost person, Brahma. So Brahma's duration of life is the maximum in this entire creation. So Brahma's duration of life is that duration of the breath of Mahavishnu. So the actual time, sense of time is due to Mahavishnu, due to this activity of Mahavishnu. And even when Mahavishnu breathes out and the universes are created, then the universes have to be maintained because there is constant change. Why maintenance is required? Constant change. Just like you say building maintenance. Why? If you don't maintain the building will deteriorate. Exactly like that, this whole universe, it is brought together after the different elements are formed. They are brought together by the act of creation. Then it has to be held together. Just like you take some dust or you take some sand, go to the beach and take some sand, hold it in your fist. It will remain as one lump. Moment you open your fist, leave it, it's no longer one lump of sand. It's all separates. All the particles of sand separate. Exactly like that, the Shastra says, the Lord is holding all the planets and the different mountains and the rivers and different manifestations together in his fist. So as long as he's holding it in its fist, it is remaining as so many planets, so many mountains, rivers, everything. Moment he lets go, finished. Nothing will remain. No planets, no mountains, no universes, nothing will remain. Then what remains, just like particles of sand can be held together by your fist, similarly these particles of atom are held together by Vishnu. And then when he lets go, finished, everything is separated. Again back to particles. Those particles are understood also as material energy. Material energy. The external energy of the Lord, also called as material energy or external energy. Bhashya Shakti. Jada Shakti. So many different names. So this understanding of time as same as space or atom. Atom is again that which is covering space. Because you cannot get hold of an atom. You cannot see one atom invisible. It cannot perceive what that atom is. But time you can. Time, Kala you can. Because Kala's effect is seen in terms of change of body, movement, or destruction, or creation. The effect of Kala can be seen. In fact, the effect of even this particles coming together is felt as body, manifestation of a body or a physical object. So whenever you see some physical object or any body, you should understand it is simply a combination of atoms. And therefore, that is the effect of Kala or creation. And it remains like that because of maintenance. And it will be destroyed when no longer maintenance is continuing, maintenance is finished, over. Then it will be destroyed, over. So, Kala is bringing about all the changes that we see. It is forced. Changes are forced. The changes cannot be stopped by any effort, by any agency, any other agency. Change cannot be stopped or reversed. No, not possible. So I'll stop here. This is a very technical subject, but still it is important to understand that what we think in terms of the body, we are so much attached to this body, and we think this body is the self. So Bhagavad Gita very clearly explains we are not this body. But you further understand this body is simply made up of these atoms. All bodies are made of atoms, whether beautiful, ugly, living body, dead body, all the same. Simply it is particles of atom, that's all. So we don't give much importance to the body as compared to giving importance to the soul. That is the whole idea. To turn our attention, why Bhagavatam describes all this? To turn our attention away from the body towards the spirit soul. We are so much concerned with upkeep of the body. Do we care for the soul? Generally we don't. We are not concerned what happens to the soul, what is happening or what is going to happen to the soul. So, turning our attention away from the body towards the soul in so many ways the description is given. Body, even when it is in a healthy condition or not so healthy condition, or even after the body is destroyed, it is nothing but atoms. It remains atoms. It will also become atom. I mean, it will again separate and remain as atom only, even after destruction. So there is nothing to lament about this body in any condition. Same thing which Krishna says, Gatasun agatasumscha nanushocanti pandita. Arjuna is very much afflicted by the thought of killing his kinsman, especially killing his grandfather and teacher. So Krishna is telling there is nothing to lament about the body. And as far as the soul is concerned, the real person, you cannot destroy. You cannot kill the soul. Soul is never destroyed. Cannot be killed. So, from that perspective, Krishna is explaining. Now we understand, going into the details of what is this body ultimately. Of course, the Bhagavad Gita explains the body is made up of this Panchabhuta. But the Panchabhuta itself, what is it made of? It is made up of particles of atom. So, understanding this truth about matter, we become detached from material possessions, material situations, material world, material bodies. Everything we can become detached. That is the whole idea. I'll stop here. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.